If you run any cold email in 2024, you would know that the deliverability landscape has changed dramatically. In this video, I'm going to talk through some of the strategies that we're using at levergrowth.io, my B2B lead generation agency, to help our clients and our internal campaigns maintain high deliverability. Now, I'm going to just walk through this Google Doc that I put together. This is some FAQs that I typically get from my clients, from my network, or just folks who are asking questions about cold email. The high level here, it's gotten harder. Plain and simple, nobody can deny it. There have been a couple major shifts since the beginning of this year that have caused this, and ultimately deliverability has just gotten more challenging. Does this mean that cold email doesn't work? No, it still does work. It's just becoming more challenging to navigate the technological complexity. And in this video, I'm going to try to make some sense of that for you and help you troubleshoot your deliverability issues if you're having them. So first and foremost, Warmup, the big question is, should you do it? In my opinion, you should be using it. So to give you some context on our results in August 2024, we're now seeing reply rates that are ranging from 5% down to 1% as good deliverability. Anything greater than 5% is great. If below 1%, then there's typically something wrong with your campaign. It could be targeting, it could be offer, it could also just be that you need to fix your deliverability. Now, I'm going to go through some of these FAQs and just walk through them and kind of chat through some of the high level hot button topics in the market right now. So Warmup. We recommend putting warmups on all of your inboxes for a minimum of 14 days. There are lots of different providers that provide warmup services, and many of the sending tools have them as well. Something that you should definitely be doing, and the reason why is this is enabling your email inboxes to have higher engagement. So when you're sending your cold emails, it's basically averaging out. When less people are actually replying to cold emails, you still have some of the warm-up emails that are accounted for in your total inbox engagement rates. And as a result, that's going to help with your overall deliverability. Now, spin tax is another thing that we recommend. And so spin tax should be used in all of your emails. This basically allows you to create additional variation in your email copy. This is making it harder for spam filters to detect messaging. And further, it just makes your message more unique. And simple way to do this is add a spin tax in your unsubscribe message, but you should be including it throughout. Ultimately, this isn't going to save your campaign, but this will add some marginal improvements on your overall deliverability. So in terms of just like the types of infrastructure that we're using right now, just going with 2 inboxes per domain, sending lower and lower volume than we ever have done in the past. Typically, it's between 5 and 15 emails per day. You can ratchet that up to 20 if you're looking for more, but best case is just keeping it really conservative and sticking to 5 to 15. And in terms of our warm-up emails, we're going 20 to 30 emails per day. Overall, you want to just keep your total inbox volume, which includes your cold emails and your warm-up emails, less than 40 emails per day. Now, let's talk about open rates. In general, do not track open rates, do not track clicks. You shouldn't track open rates because the tracking code used to determine opens can easily get picked up by spam filters, and as a result, your email will not get delivered and will not end up in the primary inbox. Some email services will also automatically open up your emails, and the reason why they do this is because they're scanning for viruses, and so because your email has some tracking code in it, it might automatically think that that is something that is questionable. And as a result, it will block the email and it will not allow it to go into the inbox. And so in 2 things here, one, it doesn't even get to the inbox. And then in the other hand, it's actually going to inflate the open rate numbers. So in any case, just do not track this. A better proxy for checking your deliverability is going to be looking at your overall reply rates. If you are going to track your open rates, and again, I don't recommend doing this, but if you are going to, I would say do it in very, very low numbers, super targeted campaigns. Think your Dream 100 outreach. If you don't know Dream 100, that's building a top 100 potential client account list and just hitting them up with super personalized messaging. In this case, I would, if I were to be tracking open rates for Dream 100 outreach, you can use the open rates as a potential buyer intent to do further omnichannel outreach. So say they're opening the email 3, 4, 5 times. Again, it's not a one-for-one proxy and 100% accurate, but you can use it as intent. Then you can do some outreach via LinkedIn, via DMs, via cold calling, and just drum up some business that way. So again, going down to like total replies. So typical open rates in August 2024 are between 1 and 5%. This is going to be dependent on your offer, dependent on your targeting, and ultimately, the better your offer, the more unique it is, the better your overall engagement. So that engagement obviously increases your overall reply rate. And so if you have high reply rates, you probably have a good offer. If you're below 1% replies, then it's likely that you have a deliverability issue. It is normal to see higher reply rates earlier on in your campaigns, especially in the first few days, because the campaign is completely new and the prospects haven't yet seen your offer. So emails 1 and emails 2 are typically going to have the highest overall reply rates and the highest overall conversion rates. Over time, you can expect to see your reply rate drop as your campaign progresses. So say you're running 3 or 4 step campaign. It's typical that you'll see the highest replies in email 1 and email 2. So it's natural to see that the reply rate for emails 3 and 4 are going to be substantially lower. Now you're running just a 2-step campaign and it's over a longer period of time. Again, like you're going to be sending the same messaging. So if you don't have any variation in that, that's going to become detected. So it's really beneficial to constantly be switching up your copy, constantly be testing new offers. Not only is that beneficial from the perspective of, bypassing spam, but it also is a better experience for the end customer and the prospect as well. So let's talk suspecting deliverability issues. So maybe you have them, maybe you don't, you're not quite sure yet. Here's how you would think about it and troubleshoot it. So a few ways to go about it. First, you want to look at your bounce rates. Make sure that they're less than 3% in your campaign. If it's higher than 5%, you definitely have a deliverability issue or most likely have one. And as a result, you should make sure that first and foremost, your email list is cleaned, make sure it's verified, and then you also want to check your DNS settings. Next, you can do a manual blacklist check on mxtoolbox.com. So what you want to do is plug your domain in there, check if it's on any blacklists. And keep in mind, if your domain is less than 14 days old, it's going to automatically appear on some blacklists. This is normal and it will typically get removed once the domain is active for 14 or more days. This is also another reason why it's important to leave your email inboxes on Warmup. If you aren't seeing anything clearly indicating bounces or other deliverability issues, you can also just go into those inboxes manually and you can review the bounce logs. So for example, if you send an email and it bounces, that bounce will then trigger an automatic reply and that will go to your inbox. And so this will actually tell you why the email was not accepted by the email server. So sometimes it's because the email might not actually exist. Even if you validated it, people leave or retire, but the email might still come back as valid. That happens. Another example is just it could be blocked because the domain has a history of being marked as spam. And so if your inbox and your domains have been marked as spam historically, email servers have a higher likelihood of proactively marking them as spam. And so that could be why. And so what I would recommend doing is if you have a notification that you're unsure of, just Google it and you can get some more context into what the actual issue is. Ultimately, you can always buy new domains, get new inboxes set up, and then put them on Warmup for 14 days. That's going to be the most conservative way to just maintain really, really high levels of deliverability. And so what to do if your deliverability is dropping. So over time, inbox health will tend to degrade. So I tell clients to expect inboxes to maintain good health for 60 to 90 days. if they're inactive campaigns. So if you're starting to see performance decline, you can do a couple things. One, you can remove them from a campaign. You can put them on Warmup for 1 to 2 weeks and just see if they heal up. Or you can buy new domains, you can set up new inboxes, and you can put them on Warmup for 14 days. Those are really the two options that you have. You can heal your existing ones, or you can go and get new ones. Another thing you can do is just create a new campaign with new messaging and new targeting. So email server algorithms are getting smarter every single day, and they detect patterns in your overall sending volume. If they see the exact same message being sent across multiple inboxes in your admin panel for a month straight, there's a higher likelihood that your messages are going to trigger their spam detection. So to avoid this, keep your messaging fresh so you can prevent offer fatigue on the prospect's end, right? So you're not sending the same exact message over and over and over. It's kind of like if you ever run paid ads or you see ads, there's something called banner blindness, where if you've seen the same ad over and over again, it's just not even going to resonate with you. Same thing with cold email. So not only is it beneficial for the purposes of maintaining your deliverability and getting in the inbox, but again, it's also important to consider your end customer and what they actually want and what they want to see. We're not just trying to avoid spam filters. That's not the point of cold email. The point of cold email is to provide a valuable service to the end customer. And so you need to understand what that customer really wants. And so by writing good messaging with a good offer, that's going to be your surest and best way to maintain good response rates on an ongoing basis. And so the last tip here that I have is going to be making sure that you rotate your inboxes. So this is something that we have implemented for our own campaigns. Let me explain what that actually means. So for example, say you have 100 different inboxes. I would recommend using inboxes 1 through 50 for your first rounds of campaigns. So you can run 1, 2, 3, 4, however many campaigns you want with those first 50 inboxes, but have 50 more that are just sitting on Warmup and not in an active campaign. Then for your next campaign round, you can use inboxes 51 through 100, and you can put the original 50 on Warmup. So basically what you're doing there is putting some on, taking some off, and just letting them rest and warm up. And so over time, this will allow you to basically average out your engagement metrics for your inboxes and therefore improving your overall deliverability. Here's a couple tips for you to maintain deliverability in the changing cold email landscape. I hope you found some value. I will see you in the next video. Peace.